we don't have an issue with interviewing Echesa, actually. The problem is him being interviewed after he has taken a plea. Because you know what happens. If the case is already in court, you let matters go, be reported as they are in court. And he's a suspect in this case. And actually, any judge can call you and tell you, I think there's a law, they call it sub judice.
And that's why I said,
Something
as a
that.
lawyer,
Sub judice if the trial
that's why
isn't
I
on.
said, as a lawyer, I wouldn't advise. Even if I'm not his lawyer, even on the streets, I will not advise Echesa for the interview.
Okay.
But as a journalist, it will be a different fit.
Yes. All right. Mwalimu.
It's good that you have a lawyer and a journalist on the panel. Because one thing this regime has been very good at, and especially on the side of the DP, even when he was there were no fights in Jubilee, they were very efficient at trying matters in the court of public opinion. Like now, there's a campaign that has been running for several years, calling trying to discredit the judiciary, and I have no doubt that it is sponsored by the state. I think they went to the point of even hanging banners in the streets like activists the other day, 2 weeks ago. So there's that attempt to discredit the judiciary, try matters in the court of public opinion, and this is the realm of PR and propaganda, and Jubilee has perfected that. I think they used to do that. That was the Cambridge Analytica. Now that's what I was saying, that these guys have become so good at it that now it's biting them. Yeah. So Kenyans now believe what the hashtag says rather than what the facts are in the story that he has written. And so we are looking at all these things and biting them rather than going into the depth of these issues, whether the DP was involved, whether Echesa, as he's saying, even journalists, I think I've gone to a point of some of the journalists don't even ask in-depth questions. I've sat in spaces whereby we actually give journalists questions to ask, because whatever quality of questions they're asking, we want to put out a point, but it's not being asked. Either the journalists are intimidated by the panel, or I've sat in a space where we are with let me just mention the name, my former boss, John Githongo. Yes. And I think he's a larger than life figure, and the journalists are just intimidated. Yeah. And you have to go and ask him this question so that he can respond to that question. Okay. So that we've been having those issues of whereby Kenyan, the short life of social media catches up even with these politicians. Okay. As they said, they are paid bloggers. They are paid hashtags. Yes. that are controlling the news cycle. Before you do a story between 10 and 6, a lot of stories have been done, fake ones and real ones. So I think what the media needs to figure out is, and even working with some of the people who want to get factual stories out, I look for, I've taken down posts that I've done because of maybe there was sensation, or I could not verify whether it was true. So there are some of us even on the social media space who are looking for that factual information to put it out. Okay. Because we want Kenyans to engage with.
All right. Let me give the last word here for all my panelists. Given where the story has reached right now, and the interest that it's drawn, where should we take it? I'll start with you and end with you from the panel.
I think so far the story took a sensational nature, and where we are, what the media should do, because we live in a country whereby stories have the Makonde kind of days. They just wake up and disappear. It doesn't take 2 weeks. It is very rare. Apart from the retired President Moi, it is rare for a story to run its course for 2 weeks. Even the Golden Bag, the Anglo-Leasing, they were covered for a few days and they were left, we went to other things. But now,
Anglo-Leasing, just a few days.
It took a long time, but the issue is, in terms of being on the top menu, it did not last for long. With the time, it became a kicker. Over time, it found itself in page 5. It disappeared to the middle of the newspaper. But the thing is this, moving forward, what we should get from the media house is those questions that the Kenyans are asking for. Those small, the lacuna, the bigger story left. When we are done with the law of prominence, as the people went to journalism school will say, let us now get down to facts. Was there a tender? Did anybody visit DOD? What was the meeting in KICC doing? These people, what were they discussing in Hemingway's?
A common Mwananchi question is a DP involved? Because
yes, actually, we are getting there.
Yeah.
We are asking what was the interest of the DP in this case, what was the interest of the generals, and then they have the bigger question now, was there actually a deal in the first place? Because it might be an issue of smoke and mirrors. Somebody saying I paid 11 million here. Have we seen the account details of where the money went? Those are the small things, so that we do not fall into the temptation of the people who want to shape a narrative or who want to run a narrative of something else.
Okay, thank you, Kipchumba. To you, Mwalimu.
So, court of public opinion, paid hashtags, paid articles, paid features in the media, and the only people who can afford this is politicians. So we are on a constant cycle of politics. I think Shivundu mentioned this time maybe the media figures out how to make the story of potholes in Mweki sensational so that they make the headlines, and we push the politicians to the backstory. Then maybe people will not be entrapped.
There's no need to sensationalize something to replace something.
If this is
bear the facts.
If this is facts, yes, yeah. But it's the way you serve them. Okay. I mean, you can have beef or chicken.
Got you.
Depending on who prepares it and how it's prepared, it can look attractive or it can look unattractive. It's the same chicken that was slaughtered. So how do we get, because Kenyans want to engage with the issues that matter to them. They want to know, have water, affordable food, transport, the roads need to be good, our taxes being used for the right things. But then we're constantly being fed with this story. It becomes psychological, whereby you actually, I've seen people, the way people are addicted as smokers or some addicted to tea or coffee, that people are addicted to 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock news. You could be seated in a public space or like a pub or a restaurant, and if you don't switch to news, some people will get sick.
Yes.
Switch to news. So we need to maybe part of avoiding this sensation and being able to focus on the real issues is the politicians need to stop paying for those front pages, because I know they're paying. They're paying. We know what brown envelopes are.
They're paying. So for this instance, do you know who's paying next?
No,
we're here.
Yes.
Just tell us.
I'm here to say this because I know you guys can't say it.
Don't bite the cow.
I know you guys can't say it, so I'll say it. I'll say it on behalf of Kenyans who are watching this show. Let's take politics to the back pages. Let's bring the issues that. Why are the locusts? Locusts. I saw. Yes. I saw a very beautiful story the other day, just by accident, because most Kenyans have switched off TVs.
There's that. I was going to counter what you're saying about addicted people.
There was a story about a lady who's a pilot for KDF. I think it was on Citizen
TV, yes.
Yeah. I was like, wow, what an amazing story. Why isn't this the headline every day? Of such ladies who are doing amazing things. What is it about Kileweke and Tangatanga? The same thing every day. Raila said this, Uhuru said
There's someone in the Vox Pop who said, we are a mirror of the society, and actually it's what people want to see. Is there some truth to that?
I think there's a reason why people have run away from mainstream media to social media.
Okay. All right.
There's a reason, because if you go, and that's why even media has sometimes been caught up by picking up stories on social media and making them headlines when they haven't verified the facts.
All right. Thank you for your contribution. Alphonse?
So I will just be quick. So when they say that we should take politics to the back page, the Nation has been trying to do that. Just this week, NTV and the Daily Nation, they have been running a story about the toxicity in the waters and stuff like that. Yes. And everyone at this point would know that we have no choice but to import fish into Kenya, because for some reason, we don't have enough fish. But the fish that is coming in, the stories say the fish was contaminated.
Yes.
These journalists have done the legwork. They have done the tests. But how many people sat back and said, okay, because of this, how does it affect the person at industrialization? How does it affect the people at fisheries? The people charged to ensure that whatever comes in is good.
Yes.
Yes. So journalists have done their bit. You do not expect them to now start going to the ministries and telling them this is bad, to KEBS, that this is bad, that you need to act and stuff like. They can. That's now a point where somebody else has to take over. The other thing, and this is are things that we hear, but which we have been unable to prove.
Yes.
So they start as a narrative, and the politicians know how to build narratives. Somebody says, my name is always on the headline because he asks this the first time as a question, that you mean you guys cannot sell if you don't put my name on the headline. That is decoded by people that without his name on the headline, it's not going to sell. We haven't seen proof that if that name is not on the headline, the sales go down. It's perhaps something that the sales department of media houses, they can do this as a charitable thing.
Yeah,
to say,
sure,
okay, we have splashed this is the much we sold, we splashed this is the much we sold.
to compare.
That is, yes, so that these narratives are either based on facts or it's something that has just been created and is being repeated by people who accuse the media of that thing. And lastly, there is a lot of sophistication in the way the politicians are manipulating content online. So, for example, the picture that was going around about a drone that the minister was inspecting in Poland, you do that picture, like somebody without the skills to fact check would find it very hard, because the people who manipulated it flipped it first, so that if you put it directly on the reverse image search, it won't return anything. So you have to flip it so that it gets back to its original status, and then you can do that. But then they do that and they add a Photoshop, very good Photoshop, and people who are not skilled, again, at knowing if a photo has been manipulated will have difficulty in deciphering that. But it's good right now that we are getting the culture of fact-checking within Kenyan newsrooms. We've seen it with The Star, we've seen it with the Standard, and so Africa Check, Pesa Check, and everyone else is in that space trying to ensure that...
And the Newsplex as well.
And Nation Newsplex are in there. Now, there are questions that this my fellow panelists have been asking about bribery, that we need to get to see where the money went. Was there money in the first place? The nature of bribery is that people do it under the table. So somebody is not going to pay you a bribe through a bank account. And they know that's why you hear money in briefcases. And that is something that journalists would take time. It would take time for journalists to uncover that.
Yes.
It would take time for investigators to get to that.
It's true.
Yes, but let me stop there, Mark.
All right.
Yes.
Really quick, because
So
we're past our time.
Even when I say let's take politics to our back pages, actually, what you just illustrated, the story about the toxic fish, toxic lake, we keep asking, why are people dying of cancer in Kenya and not in Tanzania and Uganda? Now, if you talk about politics from that angle, okay, so who's responsible? Who's the minister responsible? Which is the minister responsible?
Hold them to account.
Who are what is KEBS doing?
Got
Hold
you.
them to account. And then if we see the DP at KEBS, and the picture is there, and he's gone there to find out why Kenyans are dying of cancer, splash him. Do a splash on that.
Right.
I don't mind seeing him doing work.
You
that
would
he's
say
supposed to be
you
doing.
would say it's a paid headline.
No. I mean, if heads roll at Kenya Bureau of Standards,
Okay.
at the port where the fish is coming through, whoever is supposed to, because we have all these scientists,
All right.
all these people do.
Vincent,
do
your
this
last
work.
word on this, how you're going to push this forward.
I think the main thing we need to do as from tomorrow is to find out why Sergeant Kenai died, because the story broke out this evening, and the circumstances which he was found dead obviously point out that to a fact that they are related to this fake arms scandal. And then number two is to find out who else was involved and which other players are out there that we don't know. We've been told there was a female MP, We don't know who it is yet up to now. And then from that, we should also be able to tell the public which other scams that are similar to this one that are out there. Because I think 2 years ago we had one where somebody was told to supply laptops again to the military for, I think I have a figure here. He lost 240 million. And the guy also claimed he was taken to State House, he was taken to DOD, he was also taken to Harambee Annex. So it appears there are these kind of scams are out there.
And they're cartels.
Yeah, so we need to like tell people what is exactly happening.